space station. Alright guys, I'm back from my jolly holidays now, and I've got a few interesting little pickups, a few Saturn bits and bobs. I found a different shop in a different place while I was on holiday, and there were a couple of PAL Saturn games there that I thought I might add to the collection. Kind of classic ones that you'll all have heard of. Sega Rally Championship. This one's in pretty good nick. It was £4.99, which ain't too bad. This is a classic game. Most people have got this one, proper arcadey one. And Wipeout. Now this isn't in the best nick, this one. It's got quite a bit of tearing on the box kind of stuff. But it is still together, and I've been really enjoying the remake on the PS4 and figured it would be quite fun to play the original on the Saturn. And I've also got a package. Ooh, better not show you my address, otherwise you guys will start stalking me. Right, see that? That's called improvising. Opening a package with one hand. What we got inside here? It's a lovely Sega Saturn controller. So you'll notice that the PAL Sega Saturn controllers are kind of chunky ones, and there's a squirrel behind me dropping conkers all on the ground. I hope he doesn't get one on my head. The Japanese Sega Saturn ones are kind of slimmer like this. They've got clicky shoulder buttons, and mine kind of gave up the fight. My last one died. I only had one proper controller, so needed to replace that. I do have the Hori fighting stick, but actually I've been finding for some shmups like layer section stuff, the actual control pad's sometimes a bit easier, you know. Because when you're jamming fire and you've got to press the alternate fire to hit the stuff on the ground, you know, sometimes that's quite difficult with the big buttons. So yeah, joystick's not always the best way forward. A little bit of a ramble. I want to talk about, well, basically in defense of expressing opinions on YouTube, in defense of reasonable discourse. I posted a video on a relatively controversial topic talking about the NES and SNES Classic Mini, saying that they're a waste of money. And somebody kind of commented on here, that's just your opinion, what's the point in slagging off Nintendo, blah blah blah, kind of a sort of like a fanboy kind of thing. And I got quite a lot of dislikes on that video. And I think what I want to say is that everything on here is just my opinion, and that's what makes YouTube interesting. That's the only reason why I really watch it, is to see people's opinions, what makes them excited, what doesn't make them excited, what makes them angry, what they're critical of. Hearing people's personalities about stuff. You know, an opinion doesn't hurt you in any way. Even if you disagree with it or you think it's wrong, it's valid because it's somebody's opinion. And the whole point is to generate discussion, not to generate a kind of reflexive response where you're just aggressive and discounting it. And yes, obviously it's an opinion. Why are you watching these videos if you don't want to hear a person's opinions? I'm not really into the whole fanboyism thing. I'm into thinking about things independently. I love Nintendo, don't get me wrong, but sometimes you need to think about things independently and reasonably and come up with your own conclusions about stuff. And what I would like to say is that disagreeing with an opinion is not a dislike. You shouldn't dislike a video if you agree with the opinion. You know, the video might be on a topic that you enjoy. You should be liking the fact that you can talk about it. Disagreements are part of how we learn. It's part of how we discuss things. It's part of how we get some discussion, argument going. And to me that's interesting. And to me that's what I want to see on YouTube. And I watched an interesting TED Talk many years ago now about we consider who actually really loses an argument. We consider the person who lost the argument the person who was wrong to begin with. I think you can look at it another way. The person who wins the argument is the person who gains the most from the discussion, meaning that you may have started out wrong, but your net information gain is greater. We need to think less about this kind of winning and losing kind of stuff and just see this as a discussion. I'm not here to attack anybody. I don't care if you want to buy a NES or SNES Classic Mini. Go and do whatever the hell you want. The whole point of this is just to generate discussion. But don't click the dislike button because you don't like hearing other people's opinions. Do you really want the world to just be a reflection of exactly what you think? You just want to hear your own opinions regurgitated and come back at you? Of course you don't, because that would be terrible. Then we'd just live in some kind of weird mirror. Take care, guys, and I'll speak to you all soon.